So let me just make this clear so we're all on the same page. I don't like being negative about PUBG, or at least I don't like being overtly negative for no reason whatsoever. I try to be absolutely honest with my feelings on everything in the game. I like to give praise where credit's due and then criticize them where necessary also. And PUBG has just released update 7.1, which will be, I guess, the opener of Season 7 coming to the live server very soon. But it's on the test right now, and I've got my hands to play on it, and I've also read through the patch notes, so we're going to be going over all of the most important updates in this video, but this honestly might be one of the most disappointing patches ever, and again, this is going to be completely up to your judgment. I'm going to go through everything, and I'll talk about it, but you can let me know if you agree or not. Is this the most disappointing patch we've seen in a while? Now, obviously, the most important thing coming with this update is the brand new Vikendi. It is back, it will be on live servers very soon, and it's also going to be slightly different from what we previously played during the PUBG partner test. For those of you who participated in that, or at least watched the gameplay on this channel, you guys know Vikendi got a complete overhaul, and most of the snow actually ended up getting removed, which was a big point of contention for many players, including myself, and, you know, it was something that was up in the air. Now, they have adjusted that slightly in the final build of Vikendi. Most of the major points are still the same. Dino Land is identical to how it was, and like Mount Kresnik and some of those readjusted hot drops have also been fine-tuned as well. But the biggest important difference between the beta version and this one is the addition of a little bit more snow. They even say, based on community feedback, they added a bit more snow in the northern part of the islands to make it a little bit more feel like old Vikendi. And to be honest, after playing it myself, you don't really notice a difference too much. Part of me kind of likes not having too much snow. It does make enemies a little bit more visible, and I can definitely appreciate that. But for those people who just prefer the feel of a classic Vikendi with the snowy wasteland, then it is going to feel and look slightly off to you. Now, the trains are still in Vikendi Remastered, and there's 6 connected tracks that go all the way around the island. Now, honestly, the trains are probably my favorite feature in this entire thing. It's a really good way to transport around the map without having to rely on vehicles. They're actually a fairly easy way to escape a situation that you otherwise might die in. If the train happens to come at the right time, it's a perfect escape route, and I'm actually a really big fan of the train. Overall, I actually really enjoy Vikendi Remastered. There's nothing I inherently dislike about the map, and I think it's great as far as I'm concerned, but here's the weird thing, and this is where the problem comes in. Vikendi Remastered is getting re-added to the queue of all the maps, and nothing's getting replaced. You guys know Vikendi went away to make room for Kraken to help matchmaking times, but it looks like map selection is coming back, and all 5 maps are going to be added into the queue. Now, it's unclear what regions are all going to have map selection, but even so, even if it's still the random selector, there are 5 maps in the queue now, meaning the map that you want to play has even less percentage chance of getting picked just due to mathematics. The reason they removed map selection in the first place was because there wasn't enough people in the queue to healthily start up every map, and so they had to just kind of pull players in one thing, and we didn't love it at the time, and you know, it's still something that not everybody agrees with, but it's what had to be done. But if they're bringing back map selection for some people, but also adding a 5th map to the queue, even for random map selection, I feel like that's only going to continue to hurt matchmaking time. And you might ask yourself, why did they make this decision? Isn't this the very problem they're trying to avoid? And I would agree with you. I have no idea why this was done, to be quite honest. And I think it's too early to say how this is going to affect matchmaking time. If they're confident that it really isn't going to be a detriment, then fair enough. Then we have all of the maps in the selection. The more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. But it's still, you have to wonder, like, is this the right choice to be made for the game at the moment? It's not so obvious that it is to me. And again, it will take a little bit of time to fully realize how that's going to play out for everybody, but I guess we're going to have all the maps now. Now let's talk about probably what is single-handedly the most disappointing part of this update, the new weapon. And those of you, probably a lot of you know this, the Mosin Noggin was leaked within the last patch. It was in the UI if you were quick enough to see it, and so we already had foresight that the gun was coming, and you know, we're pretty excited. It's like a new bolt-action sniper. A lot of you guys know what the Mosin is, and it's finally hit Vikendi Remastered, but here's the kicker. When it comes to all of its statistics, as far as damage, bullet velocity, ammunition per magazine, reload times, all of that, The thing is, it's identical to the Kar 98. The effectively Mosin Nagant is just a reskin of the Kar 98 with absolutely no tangible differences whatsoever. Interestingly, they do acknowledge this in the patch notes, and this is what they say. The hope here is that there's able to give some more weapon diversity without diminishing the availability of the weapons you love to use. But we know a choice like this might be met with mixed feelings. Are more weapons in the game a good thing, even if some of them share stats, or should we be more selective with what we put in and make sure all weapons are unique? The Mosin is coded as its own weapon, so we can always adjust the stats in the future to make it unique, but we'd like to test the idea first. So essentially, they're kind of testing out like shadow weapons. And this is interesting because going that route would allow them to make way more weapons, potentially a lot more per season, but they would be identical replicas of another gun we've already played with, just one that looks and sounds a little bit different. And personally, I think I prefer unique weapons, and they understand that they have to make sure that they're implemented in a way that's balanced and not too many weapons to pick from. If you ask me, there's literally no point in making the Mosin if it's just going to be the Kar 98. And the thing is, even in Vikendi Remastered, both the Kar 98 and the Mosin still coexist, right? So it literally doesn't matter which one you pick. It's just, I guess, a sound preference or a look preference as much as that matters. I would much prefer every weapon added to be unique. And you guys can let me know what you think about that in the comments. And honestly, your feedback is crucial because they will be listening to any and all feedback that comes in about this. If we want the Mosin to be its own thing, now is the time to speak up. Or if we want these shadow weapons, then that's probably a route they could go also. I can almost tell you for certain right now, the Mosin is eventually going to get its stats changed. I don't see this one remaining like the Kar 98 forever. It's just, it's probably not going to happen for too long. Now, let's move on to the new blood effects. I did mention this very briefly in my last video, but all of the new blood effects that they've been working on very hard for months, basically the one that was supposed to even the playing field and then also provide splatters and then give you more of an indicator on which body part you hit, have all been reverted to the old system. They say reverted new blood effects to vision used prior to update 5.3 due to unresolved crashing issues. Reverted the blood effects changes include overall visual changes, environmental splatter, and more distinct blood splatters for head and neck shots. So that's all been, I guess, removed. I really don't know what to say about this one, man. This one just feels unbelievable to me. It's like this was an update 5.3. We're at 7.1 now, and we're just discovering this is a problem. And between all of that time, it's just all been scrapped. Like, I don't know what to say. They have, however, made some quality of life improvements. They readjusted where all the network debug statistics pop up on your screen, which is pretty nice. Now, when it comes to the ranked mode, the competitive playlist, they mention it is coming, and that is embedded with their new survival title system, but it's not in this update. Again, the competitive ranked playlist is so late and drawn out at this point. I feel like most interest for it has tapered off, at least for me personally, and probably a lot of you guys too. And it's, again, not coming in this update. They don't say exactly when, just in a future patch. So that could be in the very next update, or it could be in the next season. We really have no idea. They do mention in these notes, however, for a lot of people, they have greatly reduced the instances of hitching and stuttering during gameplay, and they're going to continue to make further optimizations where they can. And hopefully this does affect a lot of people suffering from this problem. Personally, I don't really have too many issues with stuttering or hitching. Like every once in a while, I'll notice a situation, or it'll flare up for a second, but it doesn't make it unplayable for me personally, but other systems I understand might have a much bigger problem than I do. So I encourage you, if you've been having this issue, try out this update and see if that is a fix. If it's not, you can tweet at them or whatever, or try to get in contact and let them know that it still isn't working, because I have seen a little bit of that going around, that it hasn't really completely fixed all of their problems, which is unfortunate, but I guess they're going to keep working on it. Also worth mentioning, they removed the snow bike and the snowmobile from Vikendi permanently. They've replaced them with the classic motorcycles. And again, that makes more sense for the setting of it, but also those vehicles were extremely unique and really helped to give Vikendi some identity. And that's kind of missing now, and I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Overall, this patch, again, I am a little disappointed in, just because it's just like, I feel like they're missing the mark every time. I don't want to underplay the good things they've done. I'm really happy with the map, and also they've made a ton of new bug fixes in this patch, which again, I'll leave links down below in the description. I'm not going to go over all of them in this video. I wanted to go over the important stuff, but generally I am pretty just not satisfied with this update, and I'm not sure what to make of it. Honestly, I could really do with some feedback from you guys. Are you still as invested in the game as you were, or are you at least invested enough where you're keeping up to date with all of the new stuff that's happening? And are you trying out the new updates, or could you not be bothered? Are you disappointed with this update, or what would you like to see in a future patch? Like, I'm really curious where everybody's at the minute, just because I know personally I'm not super satisfied with this update. I expected, I guess, a little more for an opener of a season. To some degree, I do understand maybe the lack of content because of the situation in the world at the minute. It's got to make working on video games a lot more difficult. So I have a lot of empathy for that, but also it's just like they don't seem to be hitting it with each update, and I don't know what to do from here. If you guys have any suggestions on what you personally would like to see in the game or have them do, anything that you feel like needs to be fixed or looked at, leave that down below in the comment section. They are going to be taking in community feedback here, and it's a great place to get a discussion going. So again, I didn't want to make this an inherently negative video just for the sake of being negative, but I'm just going to be honest, like it has been a pretty disappointing update. So let me know what you guys think about it down below in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video nonetheless, please give it a like rating. It does help out the channel a ton. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new, and also if you want to go follow me over on Twitch, I'm going to be streaming over there. Link is in the description below. But have a great rest of your day, guys. Stay inside, stay safe, and I'll see you all on the next stream or the next video. Have a good one, everyone, and peace out.